Hey, I am back because we had another very popular post that I shared on our Using Essential Oils Safely page, as well as in the Facebook group with the same name, and it's gotten a lot of attention. It's so far in just a day reached over 35,000 people in about 25 hours, and there's been a lot of questions and a lot of comments. So the topic of this one is basically, it was a meme that I shared that said, contrary to what the company says, if their blend contains eucalyptus, it is not safely formulated for 6 months old. So you may see blends, you may see chest rubs, you may see bug repellent, you may see all of these different products and concoctions, but if they contain eucalyptus, then they are not recommended for use under the age of 10 years old, regardless of what they claim. Now, most companies do not have aromatherapists on staff, or if they do have aromatherapists, they may be just curious about aromatherapy. They may be interested in aromatherapy. Anyone can call themselves an aromatherapist if you are interested in essential oils, just like anyone can say that they're an herbalist if they like to use herbs. So you want to look at not just what people's titles are, but what is the information that they're sharing? You may have heard the term, actually this comes right out of the Bible, you will know them by their fruits, and that absolutely applies to essential oils and people that give information about essential oils. Look for the information they are sharing. Is it safe? Is it accurate? And regardless of title, whether they're a certified aromatherapist, certified clinical aromatherapist, professional aromatherapist, whatever they're calling themselves, look at the information they're providing and then move forward or not based on that information. So if you haven't heard yet, eucalyptus is not recommended to use around children under the age of 10 years old. This is due to the high 1,8-cineal content that is naturally occurring in eucalyptus. So this has nothing to do with brand, it has nothing to do with what company you are purchasing from. Inherently, when steam distilled, eucalyptus essential oil has high amounts of 1,8-cineal. And this applies to nearly every species of eucalyptus. Lemon eucalyptus does not contain 1,8-cineal. You don't have to worry about lemon eucalyptus. That is much closer to lemon than it is eucalyptus. So always check the botanical name to be sure. If you have access to GCMS reports, go ahead and check those out. So what we are looking for is any eucalyptus containing higher than 40% of 1,8-cineal, and that means pretty much everything out there. And we also get questions from time to time in the group asking, now what about the chest rubs? What about the blends? I have a blend that contains eucalyptus. Does that mean I can't use that also around my child under the age of 10? And yes, it applies. Whatever the safety is for the single essential oil also applies to the blend. Also applies to any products that contain that essential oil. Now, if it is an infused oil, in other words, if you put eucalyptus leaves in olive oil and let it sit, and then you're straining out those leaves and you're using the olive oil infused eucalyptus oil, that's fine. If you want to hang eucalyptus in your shower, that's fine. Totally fine. But what we are talking about is the essential oil. Essential oils are at least 100 times or more potent than an extract, which is more potent than teas and the herb and the ground spice or whatever that you are using. Essential oils are extremely, extremely, extremely concentrated. So we had a comment on our page Using Essential Oils Safely from Jillian, and I just wanted to share this with you because I think everyone can learn something from this, because we do have questions like, what happens if I'm using this on my child? Are there long-term effects? So I'm going to share this comment. She said, for us personally, I use eucalyptus and blends with eucalyptus whenever my kids had a respiratory issue, and they always seemed to take a long time to get better. It wasn't until I stopped using it that I saw a connection between its use and my children's symptoms getting much worse. now their congestion doesn't get nearly as bad as when I would diffuse it. We use child-safe oils instead now. So I shared that with you because you may notice this too, and this is something that you can try. And the reason behind this is that eucalyptus, due to the high 1,8-cineal content, can cause slowed respiration and labored breathing, the exact opposite of what you need when your child is congested. We do not need to make things worse, right? So although eucalyptus has this reputation of being great for congestion, and although it may be effective for adults if you don't have asthma or whatever, or you're not prone to seizures, for young children, it can make things worse. I mean, consider, I don't know if you've had this experience when you were younger and you had a breath mint. And I remember my son, he was pretty young, and he was like, "Oh, Mom, this is spicy." Like, he didn't like it. And for him, like, the word he could use was spicy. Like, he didn't really have the ability to explain fully what it felt like to him. But I remember being younger and sucking on a candy cane and just feeling that intensity of the menthol in that peppermint. And that is similar to the feeling of 1,8-cineal with eucalyptus. It can actually mimic the cold receptors in the lungs and just make children feel like they can't breathe, like they just feel that numbness, that frozen, icy feeling, and it's very uncomfortable and difficult for them. So please be careful, use with caution. What you can use, however, instead of eucalyptus is fir. Whether it's fir needle, my preference is the Siberian fir needle, but all firs, pines, spruces are absolutely amazing for respiratory congestion and all of that without being unsafe for children. So it's super, super effective, super safe for all ages. So for me, like, I know eucalyptus is super popular for congestion, but for me, regardless of any age, restrictions with eucalyptus, my go-to is fir. So I highly recommend switch to fir in those situations where you're trying to help your child with congestion, and you will find that it will work better and it won't be unsafe for them. So I just wanted to leave that with you. I think I grabbed all of the comments that I wanted to reference. But so just to reiterate on the chest rubs, there is, of course, a popular chest rub that we're probably all very familiar with, and that does contain eucalyptus and is not recommended. They do also have a baby version, but unfortunately, it still contains eucalyptus. Yes, in a lower amount, but I do not recommend it. So you can use fir. Again, fir needle, the Siberian fir needle is my specific fir needle that I prefer, but any fir, pine, or spruce that you have on hand is probably going to be fine. And so please avoid all eucalyptus products, blends, of course, a single essential oil around children under the age of 10. Megan says she's here on Facebook Live with me. I did not know eucalyptus wasn't good for people with seizures. Good to know. Yes, it can be problematic. And there are other essential oils too that can affect people that are prone to seizures. Shelly says, great info. Thank you for sharing this. You are very welcome, Shelly. Thanks to Shelly and Megan for hopping on live with me on Facebook. I think that wraps this up. Just the whole point was please use with caution eucalyptus. If you are using it for yourself, use it in a personal inhaler, because what that does is it exposes just you in your little bubble to the inhalation of eucalyptus if that is something you want to do, and then you aren't exposing your children under the age of 10 to eucalyptus. So any single eucalyptus essential oils, any eucalyptus in blends, chest rubs, other products including bug spray, avoid with children under the age of 10. Thanks, guys.